the pits and patters of our ancestral feet. Torn between fear and pride, 14-year-old little lamb to be sacrificed. Offerings to the gods run through the mind's veins. Is today the day you'll be cleansed? And they may as well chain your feet. Watch you waste away in unauthorized heat. They can never defeat or take a back seat. You see, the rules and regulations don't apply to these fools that use their bare hands as tools to keep the big cogs turning. For the fire that's burning, to feed the boss man's yearning for more. Yes, more. Gives out more chores but never no more money. Isn't that funny? Means tested, pleading poverty because the work can't support me and my spouse and my house that I'm never in, always working for the boss man who offers no health plan, who doesn't care about the wear and tear or the real price of their shortened lives and their dry, tired eyes that can never disguise their destinies. Hopelessly hereditary, that's what my boy will be. And my boy's boy, you see, because there's no way out. Nobody hears them shout, but they all hear her calling. And they march, hypnotized, drunk on pride, caught. Some even fought for this, caught. Some even fought for this. 5 brothers from 7 sisters in the Dalai's valley. And they were blinded and could not see clearly. Hopefully there won't be no coal mine in the sky. He's only 14, please don't make my boy mine. Llan Aberfan, Garnan Ketli Gadles. Llan Aberfan, Garnan Ketli Gadles. Bla poetiskt pwnus am gerarall on fydd y corfiach bydd yn parad. Bla poetiskt pwnus am gerarall on fydd y corfiach bydd yn parad. Some poems about the house that my Uncle John had and where I grew up, and then I'll follow into some poems about my Uncle John for you to get a better idea. This first one is called Y Gegin Fach, which translates as the small kitchen, or would have been like the back room that where all the life and the real stuff happens, and all the other rooms are kept tidy in case you had visitors. But this room was fine, we could do what we wanted. Onyx spring fire, furious amber dancers leaking blood blue. Kuchdan star, the home to everything you need and don't. Papir wow retro made of lung-like flowers, every shade of oranges and lemons. Cadair ffyddlon anti-Phyllis and croeshawi hi nôl pob nos Wener. Clincian y llwy yn erbyn y gwydr bathwn llawn a phe. Her only other habit was Coronation Street. Y bwrdd cadar yn cair, our fortress made of blankets. Uncle John, our little boy. Pack of players, snap 21, solitaire, patience, pens, papur dew. You've got beautiful handwriting, Rufy. Old gas cooker, chip pan filled with Sam, a big Bosch that both of them used. Huge concrete steps down to the long lands where we'd learn growing, burning, seasons, soul. Uncle John. 1. Carbonized crystal, dense trench pension, packed tight and tidy, the occasional rumbling conversation when disturbed by a hand or a back, a shovel, adding from sacks or into tin buckets, foolish frog squat shaft drops on timers, unpredictable nature, unforgiving thunder, tarmac tongue, caked caps and lips, learning the old ways from his eyes and song. 2. He was ashamed of his handwriting, but he taught me to use a pen. Blue Bic biro, transparent body, drawing ravens and trees, houses with chimneys, pipe-smoking men wearing cowboy hats, big smiles, wide-eyed, shaded jawlines. He was ashamed of his handwriting, but he carried a betting mini in his jacket top pocket, road ready, and he'd judge on stats or guts and I'd choose by colour. Grand national tradition I'd forgot about till now. Purple and yellow in honour. You said hi with a prize. I took a baby blue betting bic as a reminder of the spells you taught me. Jousting, fencing, precursor calligraphy. 3. He taught me to braid sweetgrass so delicately that my fingertips now write poetry in my daughter's hair. He taught me that we are a circle with a shared language of gratitude, and harvest should always be honourable. But everything for sale here is dead. Showers no longer bring flowers, and all the medicine is missing. Teach our children to forage furiously with reciprocity, then there'll never be a shortfall. Let them show you mystical symbols. Do not tarnish their respect for ravens and instinctiveness to smell flowers. I teach my daughters to braid sweetgrass, to remind us of how the world is meant to be. Thank you. So this guy, my Uncle John, he just basically taught me all the storytelling, all the oral traditions of the ancestry, the kitchen sink, the people, and class. We were talking about class without ever really saying we're talking about class. And this is kind of something I challenge all the time with young people so that they know language and literature belongs to them. I kind of got this obsession with villanelles. We've talked about this. And I'm not quite sure where it came from. So one of the most famous villanelles would be Dylan Thomas's Do Not Go Gentle Into That. Good night, thanks. And I think what I love about the villanelle is that it kind of marries my hip-hop understanding and background with this kind of poetic form that the page poets and the gatekeepers sort of want to kind of govern, and they're like kind of got their own rules about things, and I'm always challenging the rules. And it was really interesting the other day, and Jonas said to me, "Be you, your poetry is progress. The villanelle only proves that you can count." And I was like, yes, that's quite right. I'll put that in a poem somehow. But I'm going to read you some villanelles just for you to get a little bit more about who I am and the background and the great people I had in my life. And just so you know that we can do page poetry stuff too. So this one started out as, all of my stuff kind of start out as free writes or ideas, and then they become something else, and then through performing they kind of beg to become something else again. So I kind of start with a free write, then it goes to a villanelle, and then the villanelle's like, I want to be a song now, and then I'm always trying to work this out. So this one is called Blue Banger Beach Rides with Uncle Danny. So Uncle Danny was my mother's brother, and he was beautiful and used to take me to the beach a lot. Just check that's okay. Blue Banger Beach Rides with Uncle Danny. Auntie Jackie, throat croaky and busty, whipped 99s, I'd eat their flakes and mine. Low tide, cuttlefish quest, schools of rock pools, Springer Spaniel, best buddy, Welsh whiskey. Blue Banger Beach Rides with Uncle Danny. Paw printing shamans, wet sands our notepad, tap dancing waves, tease tame freedom in chains, whipped 99s, I'd eat their flakes and mine. Phone calls from Mammy Water and mermaids, brackish, Kabbalistic vinegar chips, Blue Banger Beach Rides with Uncle Danny. Homeward rockabye, windows open wide, the wrong kind of incense to learn to like, whipped 99s, I'd eat their flakes and mine. Cutched up daydreaming, damp dog my blanket, Supremes and Stevie Wonder lullabies, Blue Banger Beach Rides with Uncle Danny. Whipped 99s, I'd eat their flakes and mine. Thank you. But one of my happiest memories about that was after we'd been to the beach and we'd be in the car on the way back after the ice cream and the chips and everything. And then they'd have I'd be falling asleep on top of the dog, and they'd have their windows like open wide, smoking. But it was kind of like I have this really affectionate sort of relationship with this situation, and it's probably not the best one to have. And this poem I'm going to read because this came from a workshop that we did together, based on a picture that was initially a free write, and then this is what I did with it. So this is called Candy Clouds, Saturday Skydiving Club. Candy Clouds, Saturday Skydiving Club. Too young to fly, I photo my father. eyeing up his navy rally jacket. Wished and waited, not mine to inherit. Later I'd claim a bad boy's Adidas, candy clouds, Saturday skydiving club. I'd foraged the lands for lost property, knew the drills, 1, 2, 3, check canopy, eyeing up navy rally jacket. Can't keep that poor boy down, theme tune blasting, formation, murmuration, mastering, candy clouds, Saturday skydiving club. Dedicated, but I got downgraded, new girls, new issues, contaminated, eyeing up his navy rally jacket. Prayed to every green blade, DJ'd his tapes, wrong way around relationship instincts, candy clouds, Saturday skydiving club. Eyeing up his navy rally jacket. Thank you. So this is a piece that I wrote. It's called The King of Tango. I met this Finnish beat poet called Harri Hertel, and spent a lot of time with him. And this one day in our tour van while I was in Finland, we were talking about music and the music he liked, and he was explaining the story to me about Finnish tango is like a big thing, and there's this like singer called Olavi Virte, and he said Olavi Virte was born in a sauna. That's true. That's definitely true. And I was like, man, quick, write that down. I don't know where I'm going with that, but that is flipping brilliant. That's brilliant. I was like, I'm taking it. And so Olavi Virte, very, very famous Finnish singer, and his final song, I believe, was a song called Hoppinen Q, which means silver moon, like this big silver moon. The moons are very, very important to me as well. So I'm kind of talking to you about this experience, but also I think what it does is this kind of universal connection that we have to the gods that we all share. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. There's just so much stuff that is bigger than us, than all these other things that have been put in place to split us all up. So this is what this is about, kind of, and so much more probably. The King of Tango. Olavi Virte was born in a sauna. That's true. That's definitely true. Original spirit of the stover. Rituals honouring powers of the fire and the water. Stone and steam, the breath of ancestors. Stones collected ceremonially, charged with intent. Fired up by rainwater. Traditional doors should be shorter, showing reverence for ancestors. Traditional banya backwards in Russia, bowing to our ancestors. Savu Sonu, we drum and sing, welcoming Saunu Tontu. We make our song sincere. Shango, the Nigerian god of thunder, do Taran, Nigeria. Gatherings of musical slaves around the river plates, unifying hundreds and thousands of European immigrants. Dictatorships ban public gatherings and discussions. Shango, the lessons of spring and winter, longing for lost lands laced in love and sorrow, always secret testament. Habanera, begin the beggy, betula, bedu, betula, bedu, betula, bedu, betula, bedu, birches as a species pioneering, colonizing Constantina, Helsinki. Swollen lands, post-war baby boom, job searches, hundreds of thousands of evacuees from Karigella, 50 simplicity, communal annexations, and our nakedness, womb-like, sat on benches where we are all equal. The elderly, the workers, the war veterans, the children, the youngest to hear and observe everything. Life stories told at their most naked, drenched in sweat, toxins, impurities, stories we can see and read. Scars in full visibility, and we saw how wounded the unwounded could be. Sonnuasa or Lanquin Kirkosa. One should behave in the sauna as in church. Prayer, healing, purification, community, negotiation, exchange, opinions, eglus, rites of passage, earthside, entrances, exit, execute, etiquette, noifter, breathe, kiwas. Soul of the sauna, show us 3 paths to our soul. Itse, luontu, lulu, lulu. We all have lulu. Kiwas, soul of the sauna, shamanic sweat of Vainamoinen, instigated by a nominated major, Amadeus Lundberg. Birch whisk, branches of spring and summer, tributes to tribes conquered or weaker, king of Shango, Habanera. Constantina, secret testament, begin the beggy bitula. Birch buds, laced in symbolisms of imitation, adaptability, urban waves, global pulse. Vita Vasta, your birches we share with Celtic culture, the oldest form of paper. Birch bark manuscripts, Buddhist, Sanskrit, sacred mantras, texts discussing mathematical techniques, medical treatises, proverbs, folk tales, philosophies. Ogma, father of the alphabet tree, Tana Koideruida, Akos Punisha. Ogma, gift me with speech and language, eloquence and learning, curious, soul of the sauna, fire at the third round for the fairies, sauna tontu, the ancestors of men and women are the same. We encourage mixed gender, those that are neither are our community shamans. Curious, gift me Durga, the creator of the universe, the goddess of war, and her birch bark keepers have full protection, and we are violence for liberation and destruction for creation. She is Shakti, and she makes me impassable. She makes me inaccessible. She makes me impassable. She makes me inaccessible. She makes me invincible, and she makes me unassailable. Durga marks the beginning of my soul's journey to creative freedom. Hoping in you, personify silver moon, immortal matrons of childbirth, lunar energy, goddesses of two worlds. The moon is not perfect, but she soothes exhausted minds. Flaws can be perfect, symbolize significant changes in time. Hoping and Q, connects me to my ancestry and my ancestors to Europe. The movements of my people, our universal connection to the gods. My words are bridges. My words are a war cry. My beat is the birch bark of your ceremonial understanding. Hoping in you, the last masterpiece of him. Badly alcoholic, very bad physically, but the voice of him. Velpon sing sawi viti Maina hardu anataweto Leatarian Vesidanasgaven. Ola Viverte was born in a sauna. That's true. That's definitely true.